And good morning, Big Brother fans. It is a Monday, February 26th, and we now have our first winner of Celebrity Big Brother. And it's Marissa. And, okay, works for me. I'm fine with it. I'm fine if anybody had won. Well, I would have been complaining if Omarosa had won, and at this point I don't even know why. I kind of just dug in my heels and I just don't want her to win. But she got her, finale night appearance, interview. I just didn't like the fact that CBS was bringing in politics into the Big Brother, which is what they were doing, and which Julie continued to drop hints they're going to do. It's like, can't wait to talk to you tomorrow, and we're not going to talk about Big Brother, and not just about Big Brother. It's like, yeah, right. You guys scored an interview. That's kind of how I think they looked at it. As we scored. We've kind of locked Omarosa into CBS for at least 2 weeks exclusivity. I mean, if that's the way you go about getting it, it certainly accomplished the thing, and now for the next X amount of days, every time Omarosa is doing an interview, and she'll be doing lots, I'm sure, it will say she spent the previous 2 weeks on Big Brother. It's like, yeah, they're getting a lot of mileage out of it. So, media wise or from the point of advertising Big Brother and getting hype up out there about Big Brother, it was a very smart move. For me, as a Big Brother fan, I really didn't care that I had to put up with that angle, muddying the water of my stupid enjoyment of a dumb reality show that I had to keep hearing, that. But then again, I soaked it up, and yes, I was indeed watching a press conference, some White House press conference, when someone stood up and asked about Omarosa. So, that was an interesting moment. So things went pretty much as I expected. I mean, Omarosa got evicted. Then it came down to that 4-person thing, and you know what? Marissa she was in the lead. She got the first one right, and nobody else did. And then they all were getting him right. And then it came down to a tiebreaker between Mark, Ross, and Marissa. And all 3 of them went over. It turns out, as was pointed out by the person that used to do the website, and then there were X. She pointed out that endurance, and imagine the air quotes going up around the word endurance, that competition that we didn't get to see on the skis took all of 10 minutes. So, it wasn't that long. And what her point was is she said, I guess we did get to see that endurance competition after all, because the segment on it was nearly 10 minutes, I think. So, yeah, we pretty much got to see the whole thing. So Marissa won, and then it came down to the jury, and I did not watch the post-show backyard interviews, which a couple of them were streamed, or at least one channel was streaming them, a CBS channel. But the understanding that I have from what people have said, and I had retweeted, is that Marissa was pretty much going to win it no matter who she faced. It sounds like Ross wasn't going to win it no matter who he faced. It sounds like it was a very bitter jury. It sounds like it was a very, we're not going to give it to Ross because he didn't. First of all, in part because he didn't own his game a little bit. He did hedges, well, it wasn't a complete liar. Oh, it was kind of almost the truth. Or he just should have owned it and just said, you know what, I played Big Brother. I lied. I broke trust. That's what you have to do. He kind of owned it after the show, after the vote, with Julie at the end, but he didn't own it in the jury vote. I think he thought that if you did it that way, it would win, obviously, and it didn't happen. Meta's vote, total random vote, didn't matter, because as it turned out, he voted for Ross, but it didn't matter. Ross would not have won even if Meta had voted for, or even though Meta voted for Ross, Ross still didn't win. And even if Meta had voted for Marissa, Ross still wouldn't have won. You know, it's kind of like it didn't matter. His vote didn't matter because it was more than, it was 6-4, right? 6-3. So even if Meta had voted for Marissa, it still would have been 5-4. Then, of course, though, you get into the whole, well, if somebody else had voted differently, it could have been different. But, doesn't matter. What else? We've got our podcast tonight, and we've got a bit to talk about. Seen the outline. We've got a couple of things. 1 or 2 audio clips, probably. But this is the thing that we don't normally do, a post-eviction podcast, because we feel like we don't have a whole lot to talk about. But we have a little bit. Plus, we have an interview with Shannon that we did on Saturday that I've already talked about enough. And obviously, Shannon voted for Marissa. People are saying that Shannon is very bitter, and I'm not looking at it through the right lens, I think. I think I'm a bit biased, and so I have a feeling that Scott and Colette will claim their things, and people certainly online have said she's very bitter. Has said she's very bitter. But I can't help. I don't know Shannon, obviously, but I think it's just her being a fan for 19 years, 18 years, getting a chance on the show and getting the rug pulled out from under you, and then watching people who have never really loved the game making it a lot further than you. I think that's really what fueled the bitterness, and I can't blame her for it, and I think I'd be really bitter too. So for what it's worth, I know I'm kind of defending somebody who other people have been like, yep, that's the way, yep, sure is. But it's like, you know what, that's just the way I can understand it. And I'm not gonna poke at her for her not being happy with the outcome. And I know that, she's just very intense about it. She's very serious about the game. And that just shows how much she cares about it. So anyways, we'll talk about it tonight a little bit, I'm sure. I think I'm going to be on the defending Shannon side of it, which is okay. And then what else? She didn't win America's Favorite Player. Julie said that the top 3 were Ross, James, and Shannon. I don't know where Shannon may have been third. I don't know. We were worried that James was going to get it. I didn't think that Ross was going to get it. But then again, the fact that most people felt like Ross should win the game, or that he was going to win the game, has to make you think that he was also a favorite among a lot of fans, and that they would vote for, if they felt like, oh, he should win the game, oh, he should also win America's Favorite Player, and they'd vote for that as well. So kind of makes sense. So that's what I got, guys. I don't know. I may do one of these tomorrow. I don't know. I'm gonna guess no, unless some big news comes out. I'm really kind of feeling burned out majorly, and it is February 26th, and February, March, April, May, June. So 4 months from now, I'll be doing this again. September, October, November, December, January. Hey, you know what? It's about the same amount of break since Big Brother ended. So that's a bit more time than I was thinking. All right, I can handle that. So odds are pretty high that you may not hear from me for 4 months on this on Spreaker. Then again, every once in a while, out of the blue, I'll fire up and think, you know what, I'm just going to say hi on Spreaker. So it's very possible that before June comes around, I may pop on, but again, may not. So thanks again, everybody, for listening. Be sure to catch our podcast tonight or on iTunes or Stitcher or TuneIn or any other place that you happen to know about once it's aired. And so just check it out. And that will also be our last podcast until June. And that, other than Scott and Colette's Day Drinking, which is a different podcast, the Big Brother Gossip Show will not return after tonight until June for sure. I can't see any reason why we would do another one. Okay, guys. We will talk to you later. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And I'll do a Periscope today after work probably. All right. See you later. Bye.